got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming. Santa's coming,
And welcome back to Santa Has a Podcast, where we tell stories and laugh about all the fun things to the North Pole. Well, now I know you're looking at me and you're saying, wait a minute, that doesn't look like a normal wardrobe for you, Santa. What are you doing? Well, this is a special outfit I like to wear because, you know, I'm not an executive chef. I'm an executive taster. Yes, what I like to do is taste cookies and all kinds of special things. And today we're going to be sniffing the cinnamons and stirring the chocolate chips and sprinkling everything into a whole lot of love that you all can share with each other. Plus, Mrs. Claus is going to share one of her favorite recipes with all of you, a very festive recipe, and you and your family can make that item together. So she's going to share that with you. So roll up your sleeves. Preheat that joy, okay? And let's bake up some magic, okay? But before we get started, okay? Before we jump into all of that, we've got to get to our riddle from last week. And our riddle actually leads into everything we're talking about this week. Here's the riddle. I bake sweet treats and I wear a red dress. I help with the lists and clean up the mess. I live with Santa and I love to give hugs. Who am I? With cookies and mugs. Did you guess what the answer was? That's right. It's Mrs. Claus. Yes, she is such a wonderful person. She does all the wonderful cooking, makes the great cookies and the hot cocoa. She also teaches a lot of the elves how to cook and make all the wonderful treats so they can make them for their own homes. And when she, takes a break, they can help her out and do the cooking. So it's a very, 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 very fun thing for all of them to do. I love it because I love cookies. I love food. You can tell, right? Santa, like I said, I'm an executive taster. Anyway, I want to give you some fun facts about sweet treats and things like that. Because remember, this is all about fun and laughs and stuff like that. Did you know that the gingerbread man has been around for over 1,000 years? It was one of the earliest types of cookies and treats that was given out and made. Very simple to make, easy to cook, but again, very, very popular. Now, the most popular Christmas cookies in the United States now are the sugar cookie, either with frosting or with sugar sprinkled on top. But the sugar cookie is one of the most popular. In Sweden, children don't leave out cookies, though. They leave out rice pudding for me. And in some of the Norwegian countries and Norway and Finland, and they leave out oatmeal for me. It's all kinds of different things. But cookies are the most popular here. In fact, in the United States, the reason we have cookies and milk is the Dutch, who came here originally to the New Amsterdam area, which became New York, they had ginger cookies and milk for Santa. That was one of their treats that they had. And it became a big custom that spread all over the United States. So it's a very, very popular thing. Did you know how many cookies I might eat on one night? Somebody sat down and tried to compute the numbers. Now, the numbers came out to 42 million cookies. Now, I kind of doubt that because if I ate 42 million cookies, I'd be a pretty big guy. I mean, really big. But I do get a lot of cookies. I do get a lot of oatmeal. And remember, Santa travels at 1,800 miles per hour, per second. And so I can burn out of a lot of energy real fast. So the cookies are a great way of keeping my energy up while I'm traveling. I also share some of those cookies with the reindeer and, of course, sometimes with the elves, too. But anyway, 42 million. Can you believe that? That's a lot of milk, too. A lot of milk, okay? Now, you're wondering about other snacks and treats. How about a candy cane? How many of you like candy canes? Oh, look at all those hands out there. Everybody likes candy canes. Do you know that the world's largest candy cane was 51 feet long? Yes. Isn't that amazing? Oh, I hope they didn't drop it and break it because that'd be a lot of candy cane everywhere. You ever drop a candy cane or break a candy cane? It goes everywhere. Of course, I like broken candy canes. They're like little dinner mints afterwards, little pieces I can have. So it's kind of neat. Anyway, speaking of all this food and all the cookies and everything, it's making me hungry for Mrs. Claus baking. But before we do that, we got to check over at the Candy Cane Square and check with our wonderful correspondent, Chatter Snowglitz. Chatter, have you got some information to us?
Oh, thank you, Santa. It's snowflakes, sleigh bells, and chocolate chip cookies right here with Chatter Snowglitz reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where the holiday cheer is bubbling and the cookie ovens are glowing bright. Let's see what's happening around town today. First, we have Mrs. Claus, who has baked 3,000 sprinkle stuffed cupcakes, all for the elves' pep rally that is happening later tonight. And good news, hot cocoa bombs are back in season and exploding with peppermint and mini marshmallows, of course. So our elf team, the Cocoa Crew, is working overtime so they can deliver cocoa bombs for all of our jinglers out there and, of course, for all of us here at the North Pole. And lastly, the Gingerbread Village has finally reopened after being shut down last week because of the frosting flood, because we had one of our frosting machines that went a little overboard. So here we go. What a happy week at the North Pole. Reporting live with sticky fingers and a full belly is Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. Back to you, Santa.
Oh, Chatter, thank you so much for that report. Wow, all that frosting. I hope they didn't get the frosting mixed up with snow, because sometimes when you have all that frosting laying around, it does look like snow. Anyway, Mrs. Claus wished that she could be here today, but guess what? She bakes all year long at the North Pole community, and she had a huge birthday bash that she was doing for Snowell, and she wanted to have everything perfectly baked for that event, so she sent me her favorite recipes, and that's kind of why I'm dressed like my chef's outfit here, so I could give you some of her favorite recipes. So would you like to know her recipes? Would you like to know what she might bake? I would love to tell you about it. The top 5 items that Mrs. Claus loves to bake are: number 1, a Jolly Jam thumbprint cookie. Yeah, it's very, very simple. Jolly Jam thumbprint cookies. These are buttery little cookies, and they have a sweet raspberry or strawberry jam in the center. And what they do is when she gets ready to bake it, she puts a little bit of dough down, okay, to bake the cookie. And before she bakes the cookie, she takes and puts her thumbprint in the middle of it. Now the cookie bakes, and when the cookie comes out, there's a little place where the thumbprint was, and she fills it with jelly. And they are so delicious. They're great with a glass of milk. Oh, my goodness gracious. I just love those. Now, the next item she likes is North Pole peppermint bark. I don't know how many of you have had peppermint bark, but this is really delicious. These are layers of dark and white chocolate, and they crush candy canes. Remember I said the candy cane falls down and breaks? We take all that broken candy cane and we sprinkle it all over the chocolate, all over the white chocolate and dark chocolate. It's crunchy, it's minty, and it's very, very magical. I bet some of you have had some of the peppermint bark. It is just delicious. The third item that Mrs. Claus cooks that is really great are her snowball sprinkle bites, okay? Now, these are not made with snow, okay? But they are called snowball sprinkle bites. These are powder sugar covered cookie balls. They look like little tiny snowballs, and they melt in your mouth. They are so delicious. Sometimes they have hidden chocolate chips inside. I mean, that makes them very, very magical. So again, they're snowball sprinkle bites. The next item that Mrs. Claus loves baking are gingerbread giggle men. Yes, giggle men, okay? These are classic gingerbread cookies, but they're shaped like elves and gingerbread men and reindeer, and they're decorated with icing and other little sprinkles and gumdrops. Yes. Now, rumor has it that when you eat one of these, you giggle. And you keep giggling until you're all done eating it. So that's why they're called gingerbread giggle men, okay? Muffins. You like muffins? Well, guess what? Mrs. Claus makes magic cocoa muffins. Yes. I've heard of blueberry muffins. I've heard of cinnamon crunch top muffins. I've heard of cornbread muffins. But Mrs. Claus decided she wanted to make something special for Christmas, and she created magic cocoa muffins. Now, these are warm chocolate muffins with marshmallow fluff Yes, and they're served with a swirl of peppermint whipped cream right on top. And it's a favorite during the post-Christmas season before we get on the sleigh ride and head out to visit all of you. So again, magic cocoa muffins. These are just delicious, just delicious. And those are 5 of the great things that Mrs. Claus bakes, and she does all kinds of baking. The elves, by the way, do a lot of baking too. The elves even have a baking contest. They kind of create new things, and Mrs. Claus is the judge of the contest. And she gets to judge all these wonderful treats and cakes and cookies that the elves make. And again, it's just wonderful. And it's why we're happy here, too, because we eat very well. And we have lots of wonderful desserts, too. Anyway, Mrs. Claus' favorite part of baking, okay, she smiles when she sees someone take a bite out of something that she's baked. The way Santa does his happy cookie dance every time she bakes for him. Yes, I do my cookie dance, and I have fun when I have the cookies, and I get real happy. And, that's part of my being jolly. They always talk about Santa's a jolly old soul. And, of course, my tummy jiggles like a bowl full of jelly because I happen to have a lot of cookies, of course. Now, let's talk about my favorite treats, okay, because I love the different things she makes. And my favorite treat is the classic chocolate chip cookies, maybe with a tiny candy cane or some little candy cane broken up on top of it. Okay, so a classic chocolate chip cookie. And Mrs. Claus makes that for me, very, very special. So when I get ready to leave on the North Pole, when we leave on Christmas Eve, she has for me my thermos of hot chocolate. Okay, I have a little bag that she gives me, or a little box, and inside I've got my favorite classic chocolate chip cookies with little peppermint sprinkles on top from the candy canes. They are delicious. And those are my little bit of energy until I start collecting cookies from your home when I visit. So that's always great. Now, Mrs. Claus does have some tips for all of you children. How many of you out there like to cook? Now, again, you don't cook by yourself, right? You have your parents help you. So when your parents cook, you get to do that, right? Well, okay, here's some handy hints that she always wants to remind the children when you're helping cook cookies or anything else. Number 1, always clean your hands. Yes, wash your hands real good. Make sure there's no dirt on them or anything like that. Number 2, when you're mixing things up in the bowl, even though it might be a little hard to mix with joy. Have a big smile. Sing a song as you're mixing up a bowl. Have fun with it, okay? You can sing and dance a little while you're baking. There's no problem with that. Again, it makes it fun. It makes it joyful. How many of you like to sing and dance? Do it while you're baking. Do it while you're mixing things up in the bowl. Sometimes it's after you've made the cookies and you sprinkle things on top. You can dance while you sprinkle things on top, too. It's a lot of fun. Now, don't worry if something doesn't come out exactly the way you want it, okay? I have found out that some cookies don't always come out exactly round like you want it to, or the gingerbread doesn't always come out exactly the right shape that you want it to, but don't worry about it. The whole thing is that it's how it tastes. Okay? So even if it doesn't look perfect, it probably tastes delicious. And that's what it's all about. It's getting to eat the cookies. You have that glass of milk and eat that cookie. Again, it puts a smile on your face. How many of you, when you get home from school or you get done doing some work, one of the treats that you might have is a cookie? Okay? That's what's really nice about having cookies. Okay? And the last thing is always have fun when you're making cookies and you're baking. Have fun. And the final thing, I have one more thing that's most important. When you're baking and when you're doing cooking and everything, remember, you also have to help clean up. Because it doesn't matter how many times I have done it, Mrs. Claus always tells me to clean up because I leave flour everywhere. I leave spoons sitting on the sink. I leave bowls that haven't been washed out yet. I need to take care of all of that. She's not there to follow up behind me and clean up for me. I need to clean up for myself. So, again, it's important to clean up everything you've done when you do your own baking and your own cooking. Can you do that? That's great, because that is also another good deed. Cleaning up after yourself, okay? Now, here's the best part of it all. Mrs. Claus wanted to share her recipes with you so you can bake them at home. and even maybe start a new Christmas tradition. So what we've done is right here on this website, Santa as a Podcast, we have some of her recipes. And you can look down on the website, look down under and find some of her favorite recipes that you can get with your parents, and you can actually cook these little treats at home yourself. You like doing that? And I want you, when you get done, let me know how it tasted. Let me know how well it worked. I'd love to hear, what you did with your cookies or your treats that you bake. Okay? That's great. Mrs. Claus makes everything better. The North Pole wouldn't be magical without her. She really helps me a lot. She, if I didn't have her, she's part of my strength, and I do appreciate everything that she does. But right now, it's time for us to do a little giggling outside of cooking, and we got to head over to our giggle master. How's that? I'll call him Giggle Master. This is Rudolph has his jingle jokes. And are you ready, Rudolph?
I'm ready, Santa. Why is it always cold at Christmas? That's because it's December. Okay, here's another one, Santa. What's worse than a reindeer with a runny nose? It's a snowman with a fever. If a snowman has a fever, he's going to melt.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. Thank you, Rudolph. Those are so funny. A snowman that melts. Oh, gosh, got to watch out, because I know snowmen, they can't go out and get a suntan. They melt, Anyway, you really slayed me with those, Rudolph. Thank you so much. Now it's time to peek into the mailbag and time for the magic mail that we've got, the Mailbox Magic. Remember, these are letters and notes that you kids have sent us, the things you posted onto the website here at Santa Has a Podcast, and I try to answer a couple of them every week. Or if you leave an audio message, I try to listen to your audio message and give you an answer to your questions. So if you have questions, send them along, okay? Here we go. We're going to start out. I've got 2 questions so far today that we're going to start out with. Let's start out with the first one. This is from Sophie. And Sophie is asking, thank you for the dollhouse last year. It is my favorite. This year, can you bring me some furniture for the inside and maybe an extra doll for my baby sister to play with me? Oh, that is wonderful. I mean, I know it's nice that you asked for something for yourself, but I think it's so special that you asked for something for your baby sister. Okay, so let me see what we can do. Remember, Santa's magic is toys, and I will try to make you happy and surprise you and your sister on Christmas morning, okay? Let's go on to our next question, and that is from Levi. Levi is 9 years old, and Levi says, I hope you didn't see the cookies I burnt. Oh, my goodness. He was cooking with Grandma, and he burnt the cookies. He said, they didn't taste too bad. I'll keep practicing, and I'll get them right for you. Well, thank you very much, Levi. That's a good way to put it. Practice makes perfect. So, yes, we all have to try. I remember the first time I carved a little boat to give to a little child, and I'm sorry, it sank. So I had to carve another boat until I got it right. So, again, you burnt the cookies. It'll be okay. We'll make some more cookies, and we'll get it right the next time. So anyway, that's the best way to do it. But, keep up the good work and, doing that. By the way, baking the cookies can be given away, too. That makes a nice, good deed. I always like that. So now I believe we have some audio messages out there. So let's listen to our first audio message.
Santa, how much presents do you have?
How many presents do I have? Well, my toy bag is very magical. And I always have one more present than I need. In other words, I have presents for everybody. And even if I get to a house and somebody has left me a note with the present they want, and they just wrote that night of Christmas Eve, they wrote down what they wanted. Sometimes I can reach into my bag and guess what? That present is there. It's a very magic toy bag. The elves have done some wonderful things there. And so I always have room for more presents, and I always have enough room. I have one more present than I need. So we'll be able to have it. We'll take care of you. Okay, I got another question. Let's see who else I have.
How say Santa have presents for you? How tall are the elves?
How tall are my elves? Well, it's kind of fun that, that we talk about this because I know some of you have probably seen some movies or cartoons and stuff and you see elves and they're different heights. Well, guess what? It's true. They are. Some elves are almost as tall as Santa. In fact, some people say I'm elfish. I'm the tallest, biggest elf there is, okay? And other elves are maybe about 3 feet high. And then we have little tiny elves that are only about a foot high. In fact, some of them are living in your homes. Those are your elves that are in your house at Christmas. And they're the ones that actually check on everybody who's naughty or nice and reports back to the North Pole. The elves that are about 3 foot tall, those are the elves that work in the factory and help make the toys and everything. And if they're a little bit taller, sometimes we use them to help handle the reindeer because the reindeer are pretty big animals and they do need someone to be able to guide them in place and feed them and brush them and comb them. And it makes it a lot easier because a 3-foot elf, if they have to comb a reindeer and brush it, they have to stand up on a stool. But if I got an elf that's 4 foot tall, that elf can probably brush and comb the reindeer without getting on a stool. So we use different elves for different jobs. Does that answer your question? Oh, great. I'm glad it does. Okay. So, again, we get lots of questions. We get lots of notes and letters from all of you. Keep sending them along. Keep going to the website. You can tell us any question you want. And again, if I don't know the answer, I'll bet one of the elves has the answer, and we can get you the answer you need. Okay? Now, that's time to get quiet now. Okay? We've done all the questions. We've had the jokes from Rudolph. And you got recipes from Mrs. Claus before that. So now I want you to kind of quiet down a bit, okay? Let's listen for the spirit meter, okay? Be very quiet. Very, very quiet. Wow. That is fantastic. Can you hear it? Can you hear the spirit meter? It is so strong. It's getting stronger every week. I'm amazed at what you're doing because everything the spirit meter does is because of everybody there at home. All of you at home, you're helping make the spirit meter get higher and higher on its ratings to what we're doing before Christmas Eve. It's because of your good deeds, about your loving other people, about having courtesy and kindness to others. All of those things make it special for us and having good deeds that make the spirit meter go higher and higher. Now remember, each week I ask you about different good deeds that you can do. And last week I did ask you for a very special one, but this one was fairly easy to do. I wanted you to use your good manners, okay, with 3 different people. And I wanted you to be able to go to 3 different people that you're doing things with and to say thank you. To maybe say please or use any other good term. Apologize, say I'm sorry, or excuse me. Different things like that. But again, using these phrases, it's a part of being courteous, a part about being caring, being a good citizen. So again, I thank you all because for all of you that did that, that spirit meter just climbed up. I think it's going to go through the clouds one day. It's got so many of you doing good things. So will you keep it up? By the way, you don't have to stop doing the please and thank you and excuse me and things like that. You can do that every day, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. You can use those every single day. So don't forget them, save them, use them. And by the way, watch the people when you do that because a lot of times they're going to smile at you. And a smile is a wonderful reward for saying please or saying thank you. Okay? Okay, let's move on here and see what's going on. I just told you what you did last week. We got to give you a deed for this week. Now, this week I'm going to give you something new to do. And can you do that? Will you try? Okay, here it is. I want you to ask your parents to help you or somebody at home to help you. I want you to bake something. Bake something sweet. Now, if you don't have the opportunity, maybe you can't bake anything, okay? Maybe there's nobody there to help you out. How about if you drew a picture of your favorite treat? How about drawing a picture of a plate of cookies like this, okay? Or maybe a cake or a candy cane or some sort of treat. Make a drawing of it and then give that drawing or that picture to somebody else as a gift. Put a smile on their face when you give them that. Can you do that? Okay, isn't that a simple thing? Either bake something or draw something that's a treat or a cookie or a cake or whatever, and then give that to somebody and get a smile from them. Okay? That's a great thing to do. And of course, our spirit meter keeps rising for all the good deeds you do and everything that's going on. Well, my pals, it is just about it for the day, but we still have one more thing to do, and that is, before we say goodbye, we have to give you this week's riddle. And it's part of our Christmas cheer, having a riddle every week. And let's see if you can guess the answer to this riddle, okay? Can you crack the code and get the answer to this riddle, okay? But don't say anything right now. Save your answer, because next week when I come back, I'll give you the real answer, okay? And you can see if you're right. Okay, here's the riddle of the week. I'm written with care and filled with cheer. I tell Santa what to bring each year. I travel by mail, both near and far. What am I? Heading to the North Star. Can you guess what that one is? This is a little more difficult than last week. I'm going to repeat it again for you. Here we go. I'm written with care and filled with cheer. I tell Santa what to bring each year. I travel by mail, both near and far. What am I? Heading to the North Star. Do you think you got the answer to that? I hope you do, but you've got time to think about it. And next week when I come back, I'll tell you the real answer, and let's see if you're right. Okay? Well, now it's time to go. I want to remind you, keep spreading joy and kindness, and I'll talk to you again here on Santa Has a Podcast. Ho, ho, ho!
Fluffy white beard